How's it going, everybody? We're back with another live edition of Shoptalk Fall, and we have here Aron Bohlig, the managing partner of Comcap. Aron, thanks so much for coming on and chatting with our audience for a little bit.
Thank you, Dylan. I'm excited to be here today.
All right, so why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, your role, and what do you guys do?
Absolutely. So as you said, I'm the managing partner at Comcap. We're a middle market investment banking boutique. We do mergers and acquisitions on both the buy side and the sell side. We help with capital raising and joint ventures. So we also put out a lot of research, and today at 5 p.m. I'm going to be moderating a panel on personalization technologies.
Okay, awesome. So what's your investment thesis these days? What's exciting? What types of things are you guys looking for, and where do you think the transaction opportunities are going to be this year?
Well, that's a really fun question. A year ago, people asked, what's going on with AI? And I was on another panel presentation. I said, I'm predicting that by the end of 2025, there'll be something useful happening with AI. And humorously, I was right. Between now and then, there's been a lot of kind of wasted effort and test projects. But now, I recently read 20% of the traffic to Walmart.com comes from AI results. So somebody's searching perplexity for a product. And so that is obviously a very exciting shift. It means there's a lot of share going away from Google, Meta, and other advertising formats. And so that represents a great opportunity for the brands and retailers here. As you may know, about 10, 12 years ago, there's a huge wave of what were called at the time digital native vertical brands, companies like Bonobos. And a lot of those came up because there was this disruption or an opportunity in advertising related to the introduction of Meta's ad platform. And so we're optimistic that this new change is going to create opportunities for challenger brands and make lots of interesting new consumer goods available to the companies that can figure out how to leverage this new AI wave.
Yeah, that's interesting. So are you guys more interested in the AI companies as potential clients to help them with their exit strategies and growth strategies, or are you guys more focused on the actual retailers themselves, or a little bit of everything?
Yeah, great question. So right now, primarily the technology companies, and then secondarily, the big winners on the brand space have been beauty, cosmetics, and CPG companies. And that's usually because once you get to a certain critical mass of consumer attention, you can really scale those businesses. For good or bad, what the market learned is that many of the fashion companies ultimately aren't that scalable. So even if you've got a better pair of pants, that's probably going to be a $100 million business, not a $1 or $2 billion business. Whereas if you have a better shaver or a better beauty product, those things can really scale and become massive businesses. Yeah,
that's interesting. What about seems like there's been a lot of M&A around the better for you category. You heard Poppy finally go out for, I think it was like $2 billion. I might be misquoting the deal, but it seems like a lot of these challenger brands that kind of came in early to jump on the wellness trend or the anti-inflammatory trend, or kind of the health revitalization that's happening across America, are now going out for big exits. And you even see Pepsi launch a probiotic under their main banner. Are you guys looking at anything in that area, or see that as an opportunity for some of these CPG direct-to-consumer brands to be thinking about?
Absolutely. It's a very complex landscape, but it's a great question, a great point. Health and wellness in general, and especially anything tied to digital, is very exciting. We would include anything from a Strava, which is more exercise-oriented, to, as you said, different nutraceutical products. Obviously, the devil is in the details in that in some cases these are regulated, or they have kind of complex channels to market. I'm looking at you, HIMSS, where in some cases there needs to be some kind of doctor's approval. But overall, health spending in the U.S. is about 1/6 of the economy. And with these new products and services that are in many cases more efficacious than what people have been spending on in the past, the market is still wide open and probably going to be growing and exciting for the next 10 or 15 years.
Very cool. All right, so let's talk about Shoptalk a little bit. You mentioned you have a panel coming up today. You want to give us any kind of a preview or a tease of some of the themes that you'll be diving into?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have 4 leaders from the tech community Each of them are going to share a couple of things that have really worked for their clients over the last 12 months and their number one best recommendation for 2026 and how to use personalization to maximize opportunities in the market. Obviously, agentic AI is on everybody's mind. And I'd say, broadly, things like email marketing and basic personalization of websites and mobile may be a thing for yesterday, but there'll be some new agentic or AI-driven approaches as well. So I don't want to steal all the thunder from the session,
of course.
But I think those will be some of the key topics, which the existing channels to keep pushing on, and how to best jump in and make hay with the new AI reality that we're all living in.
Yeah, so you touched on agentic. A lot of the conversation that I've been hearing about is, the idea that we're no longer going to be marketing it to humans. It's going to be robots marketing to robots, essentially, buyer bots marketing to seller bots, and vice versa. Is there anything, you talk about the idea of personalization, but all of our AI agents are going to have to be personalized in order to, get consumer attention as we put more of the actual retail buying experience in the hands of our AI assistants or our virtual twins, for lack of a better word. Anything interesting that you're seeing in that space of kind of optimizing for that new frontier of how to market to AIs versus marketing to humans?
Yeah, absolutely, Dylan. I think two of the areas that are almost certainly going to continue to be valuable are PIM solutions and then video.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, video is a very effective tool for conversion, in particular in beauty and fashion. And even if I'm using Perplexity to find a certain product, I probably will value seeing kind of a try-on experience or a virtual walkthrough of the product, and that'll help me decide to actually push the button to buy that. Similarly, on the PIM side, even with AI doing a lot of the discovery work for me, at the end of the day, I need to get access to the data about the product, and product information management systems are great at aggregating that data, and they're becoming better every day by using AI themselves to pull together images, consumer reviews, and other information, and AI is going to surface that to consumers in new ways. So those are two existing technologies that I think are going to gain a lot more predominance in the next year or so using AI as a front end.
Yeah, it's interesting. Also, we've heard a lot here about the idea of AEO. You commented on it briefly at the beginning of the interview. Over 10% of Walmart's traffic coming from agentic search versus traditional search. I've heard a bunch of different ways to optimize for that. Some people say PR is back in a very big way because you need third-party credible news linkages. It's taking in TikTok, YouTube, and Reddit data at a very high rate. Quora is all of a sudden relevant again. And then also the way that you actually write content, being more academic in your approach, partnering with, not just writing things that are optimized for certain words, but the style of writing with sourcing and from an academic point of view. Do you think we'll see more partnerships with universities or kind of traditional researchers, or more professional organizations that kind of take that more academic approach to, the white papering and the authoring that they do?
Boy, that's a great question. I do think content marketing is going to continue to be huge, but obviously there's an issue with robots writing information for robots. And so your point is a great one about whether there's universities or other bona fide sources of information. But I'd say I don't have a strong perspective on how that's going to play out as yet. And all these, there's certainly a bunch of AEO firms out there. It's not clear that anybody knows what they're doing. Good on them.
A lot of people prognosticating
and
saying what they think is the magic formula, but probably still a lot of holes in the strategy, and probably evolve. What I've seen is that evolve so fast. Like I'll do a style of search, like, hey, ChatGPT, are there any retail conferences this week? And it will write it out in a certain way, and then the next week it will write it out and list it in a completely different way, different format. It'll do like bullet points with grids one week, and then the next week it'll do like top 3. But even the writing style and the way that it serves up the information is different with the exact same query week to week.
Well, I think that's a great illustration of the point I made, that I don't know if anybody knows anything about how any of this is going to work. I think at this point, though, in comparison to when I was giving a presentation here a year ago, now you've got to be in it and trying it, even if you don't know what you're doing. A year ago, I think it was too early, but now you've got to be in the game and trying something.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, if folks want to get in touch with you, Aron, where would you like to send them to learn more, either to connect with you and your organization or you personally?
Oh, thank you for that. LinkedIn is the best, Aron Bohlig. You can also visit our website, www.comcapllc.com. We have a lot of white papers and research presentations that are up there, and they're all free to access.
All right, thanks, Aron. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, Dylan.
Cheers, bye-bye.